G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, it is my pleasure and privilege to talk about the greatest sport in the world, rugby. And there's one rivalry that has risen all the way up to the top of the rugby world, and that is Ireland versus the All Blacks. Ireland is still hurt from losing the Rugby World Cup and the quarterfinal at the hands of the mighty All Blacks. And this game, the All Blacks had to adventure into the Lions' Den at Lansdowne Road in a bit of wet conditions. And boy, did the men in black put on an absolute outstanding performance tonight. A lot of you All Blacks fans will be very happy after this performance against the number one ranked team in the world, Ireland, because they absolutely did the number out on the Irish side tonight. Unlike last week against England, the All Blacks were giving away stupid penalties, was going backwards against the rush defense. This week, the All Blacks was much smoother all around the park, much fewer penalties. The penalty count was very good. I think it was about 6 or 7 for the entire match. It was the Irish team that was under pressure, giving away penalties, and the All Blacks, not only that they were able to improve from last week, but they adapted to the referee this game. And I thought the referee was pretty ordinary from Nick Berry. It was pretty poor calls all over the place. There was a number of high shots that was missed tonight. And before we talk about that, let's talk about something that I think a lot of the All Blacks fans, including me, was getting a little bit of chills at the beginning of the match when none other than Rieko Ioane was out there leading the Haka. Now, obviously, there was some bad chat between Rieko and the greatest Irish player of all time, Johnny Sexton, at the end of the Rugby World Cup quarterfinal, when allegedly, well, according to Johnny, Rieko told Johnny to not miss the flight home and called him a "see you next Tuesday," right? And with that, all this bad blood, and there was a bit of a speculation. All of you guys in the comments saying that Rieko might be leading the Haka tonight. That would be pretty awesome, and he sure did. And you know what else he did this tonight? That really made me incredibly happy. He did the Haka. That was originally performed by his predecessor, the great man right there, all right? Right there, the great man himself, Tana Umanga. He did the original Haka that was performed by Tana Umanga tonight, okay? The original Kampao Pango that was performed the first time against South Africa in 2005. I don't think anybody has done the Haka the exact same way, because some of the moves Tana Umanga did in this original performance was kind of like a spur of a moment thing due to his passion for the game, and nobody has done it again since then. Never done it since the same way like Tana Umanga did. So let's take a quick look at the original Haka, in the original Kampao Pango, not the original Haka, the original Kampao Pango, which is the All Black official Haka that was performed in 2005 against.
And now the
Let's take against obviously the Springboks. So if you have a look at, let's just get through this, right? So obviously everyone's down. If you look at the way Tana moves, it's identical to Rieko's. And the most important move out of this Haka, that was just out of sheer passion, is when Tana, this was the greatest Haka ever performed. It's when he slapped the hooker in front of him. Not the hooker. I don't think anybody has done the slap on the player's back since that, okay? Some of you All Blacks fans might say, hey, they did that for 5 years after this. But hey, I tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think they did that for a long time at least. And Rieko Ioane tonight brought that back. He brought it back. The exact performance from Tana. He did it. When I saw that, I was literally jumping up and down. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. The best Haka I've seen in 20 years, okay? The best Haka is from Rieko Ioane himself. The lineage of the 13 jersey still lives. And I think a lot of the All Blacks fans was probably crying after seeing that. That was just so good. Now, let's get back to bashing the referee, okay? So Nick Berry obviously missed a number of, I thought it was very inconsistent this game. There was some new law changes, in fact, that Nick Berry don't seem to know himself. So one of the law changes I thought was really stupid. In fact, this law change originated in Super Rugby in Australia. So Nick Berry should know this because he actually performed with this law. In Australia, it's the law that if you throw the line out and if the opposition don't put a player up, the lineout does not have to be straight anymore. And there was one All Black lineout early in the game. It was not straight, and the Nick Berry still called it not straight, despite the Irish did not put a player up. I think Nick Berry's trying to cover himself, saying that Ireland did put their hands up. That does not count. You need to actually lift the player up to contest the lineout for that to be considered contested, and for that not straight to be counted. So Nick Berry made a mistake there. There was a couple of scrum calls as well. I thought there was one scrum where the ball kind of just like popped out, and Nick Berry was like, I think probably the worst part of everything that Nick Berry did tonight. Obviously, there was some missed calls. There was a couple of high shots that was missed. There was one yellow card to Geordie Barrett. I thought it could have been a red, to be honest, because there was, it was pretty high straight up to the head. I think one argument you could make for Geordie Barrett is the fact that there was a late pass to the ball receiver, and it was pretty much Geordie Barrett had a very had like 0.5 second to decide to make the tackle, and it was pretty much like impossible for him to drop low in that short of a time frame. So maybe that's why the referee said there was a low degree of danger. Maybe that's part of one of the reasons that it considered for just to be a yellow card. But yeah, I mean, in some situations there could be a red card. Depends if you have like a northern hemisphere, like a French TMO, it could have been a red, I think, in that situation. But I think, yeah, All Blacks may have got away a little bit lucky there. The breakdown was an absolute mess for a bit of both teams. I think Ireland was noticeably laying on the wrong side of the rack to slow the ball down. It was clearly part of the strategy. By slowing the ball down, they were able to disrupt Porter's Ratama, especially in the first half, around the rocks out of my jersey. And what Nick Berry did was like he kind of changed in that in his interpretation of what happened. So the Ireland was able to get away with that for about 35, 40 minutes. And then Nick Berry just suddenly kind of like shifted, saying, "Hey, you're laying around side of the rock." It was very inconsistent. Sometimes he just like calls it, sometimes he doesn't. So yeah, I thought that was another inconsistency there. There was a bit of illegal blocking. So from the high balls, players usually nowadays kind of just like run towards the ball receiver, and he blocked the ball runner, the chaser's ability to catch the contest the ball. Basically, they're not allowed that anymore. So the players, the rule was if you just run and hold your line, it's fine. So if you just run towards, say, if this is a ball receiver, if you run towards him, right, you're holding your line. You're actually blocking access to the attacking team. So they have changed that. It looks like they have changed that. Will change at least the interpretation of that. You're not allowed to do that. A number of penalties were issued out, and I think especially against the All Blacks, I think the All Blacks did really well to adjust to that and not just like keep giving away silly penalties like they did last week against England, taking a player out without a ball. And there was some because there was another thing there, and I thought probably the one thing that I thought was really obviously there's a little four passes here and there, knock-ons been missed, but I thought one of the things that Nick Baird did was I really didn't like was the fact that he realizes that he made a mistake, and he tried to uh kind of like balance out that mistake by issuing a penalty or issuing a short arm or a full on penalty right after who the team that he felt he had done he done run by. I thought that was a bit. I thought that was. You shouldn't really do that as a referee. You kind of have to stick to your guns. Obviously, try to minimize your mistakes in the first place. But yeah, I thought like there was like obviously the line out when the All Blacks wasn't contested and he called it not straight, and he should have just let that go instead of immediately kind of like giving the All Blacks a short arm from the scrum. When I thought the All Blacks did push early, it should have been a penalty the other way. It should have been a short arm the other way. I thought that was pretty like he clearly just tried to do that. There was another one as well where I think in one of the scrums when the ball popped out, he kind of just like he called for a reset, and he really shouldn't call a reset, and he kind of just like immediately just giving the short arm to who I think to the All Blacks again in that situation. So I didn't think I thought that was again a bit of a poor management from Nick Berry. Needs a bit of work. Needs to have a chat with his old mate Angus Garner, who did a tremendous job last week with the England match. So yeah, I think there was not the best performance from Nick Berry. When it comes to the team's performances, this was the best performance for the All Blacks by far this year under Razor Robertson. Everything that this was probably the best performance from Damien McKenzie in his entire career. This was, I think, he got man of the match. He struggled to perform in big matches for a very long time. In fact, they had to bring up Bowden Barrett to the 15th jersey to hold his hands essentially in the earlier few tests because he was struggling so much to close out the game to make the right decisions. And tonight he didn't have Bowden Barrett at all at a fullback, and he had to make everything himself, and he did really, really, really well done. Still got to make sure those final few kicks at goal, especially when the game is tight, make sure those go through. He hit the goalpost again. Kick that he probably shouldn't have missed again under pressure. Did still try to get that final bit of consistency there. I think that DMAC will be a very, very proud and a very, very good number 10 going forward with the black jersey. He's definitely getting there. He definitely has the talent, and he's just he's definitely starting to moving into that high pressure situation more and more, yeah, more and more comfortably for Damien McKenzie. This is the biggest win as well in Damien McKenzie's career in a starting fly half position, and yeah, really, 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 really impressive. One little criticism I would say with the All Blacks is probably they should have brought on the reserves a little bit sooner. You know, Ratima was struggling a lot, and once Cameron Royga came on at number 9, was much better. The breakdown speed was much quicker, and obviously I think the referee started hammering down on Ireland a little bit on laying on the wrong side, and also the props. Cilio Tossi and Tuanga Fasi was really, really good once again coming off the bench. And they came on only like about 20 minutes left. I think they probably should give about 30 minutes, a little bit longer, because they're both very, very physical, very, very fit blokes, and very, very ball carriers as well. Like Tossi was very, very good in those contests. The collision areas as well, so I thought they probably should be come on a little bit earlier. Ireland, I thought was really good in applying pressure to the All Blacks, something that England didn't do last week. But I do think that the Irish, yeah, I think that the Irish, reserve fly half, what's his name, Frawley came on for Crawley. Is that right? Yeah, Frawley, the redhead guy. Yeah, he really couldn't handle the pressure in this match. He did really well against South Africa, kicking the drop goal, winning the game. But he came on, and it was almost like he was just. I felt like he was mentally building himself up for a drop goal or something, and he was just, yeah, he really like. He wasn't actually focusing on the moment. A number of drop balls that should not have happened. Yeah, occurred tonight. That just basic unpressured passes and high kicks to him, and he just dropped it on. I think he may have built up too much on that. And outside of that, I thought Ireland was very adventurous in attacking. They pressured the All Blacks a number of times. Second half, there was a yellow card period where the Irish, well, definitely try to capitalize on that extra man advantage and try to put pressure on. But the All Blacks did really well to defuse it. But yeah, the intent was there, but they just couldn't quite execute, especially around the breakdowns. I think that the All Blacks might have a little bit of edge there in terms of the breakdown. The Ireland did really well to disrupt the breakdown. Like I said, they kind of like get someone to lay on the wrong side and then slow the ball down and then just try to do the counteract constantly, disrupting Cortez Ratima, and that has worked really, really well for the Irish team. At least for the first maybe 50 minutes or so before Ratima came off. When Roygaard came on, and it was looking a lot better around the breakdowns. So yeah, let's have a look at the match stats. This was a very, 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 very impressive performance by the All Blacks, and absolutely A plus performance from Razor Robertson. The dynasty is back, boys. 459 run meters to the All Blacks and 202 for Ireland. 180, 18 carries for the All Blacks, 87 for Ireland. 9 clean breaks for the All Blacks and only 1 for Ireland. That is probably the difference there in their attack. 11 turnovers conceded for the All Blacks, 12 against Ireland. 30 missed tackles for Ireland out of 153. That's kind of like on the high end there for international test teams these days. 100 tackles made, 14 missed tackles for the All Blacks. Pretty much a pass there for the All Blacks. Kicks in play, 23 for Ireland, 27 for the All Blacks. The kicking game was not really that clinical for both teams, just kind of like a pass. I thought the Ireland probably had a bit of a brilliant kick towards the end. There was a 50-22, and there was from James Lowe out of nowhere. There was some slightly better kicking towards the end, but it was a little bit, it was almost a little bit too late almost to try to salvage that situation. 803 kick meters from hands to 801 to the All Blacks. And I think that this is probably the big one. The Rocks lost for Ireland. Quite a number of turnovers, especially in crucial key areas. They were not able to execute that cleanly. Lineouts as well. 3 lineouts stolen by the All Blacks. I think it was Tupavai did really, really well there. There was 1 loss for the All Blacks only. 1 scrum loss for the Ireland. I thought scrum was pretty even overall. I did feel like I did feel like Tamati Williams might have had a little bit of advantage on the looser side in the early part in the game, but they weren't able to squeeze that into any sort of penalty. In the second half, there was one turnover slash penalty given against the Irish scrum for boring in against Beelum. I thought that was yeah no that was I thought I was that was I thought that was the All Black dominant scrum anyway, so the referee should have given it for the dominance from the All Blacks on that loose side for Tossie. But sorry, not Tossie for Tuanga Fasi anyway. But the Beelan was boring in as in the same time as I was penalised for that. I thought it was probably Tossie deserved just to be given the nods for the win there. Penalties conceded. 13 against Ireland. This is probably where they lost the ball. The All Blacks was able to chip away despite the tight position, chip away chip away the Irish slowly but surely with the penalties. There was 3 penalties, only 5 penalties conceded against the All Blacks, as opposed to like what 14 or 16 last week against England. Much better improvement. I know one yellow card to Jordy Barrett. Like I said, depends how you see it. Could be a red. Could be accident. And I think he was lucky that it was just a yellow card. So let's have a look at some of the key moments. 6 minutes into the game, there was an illegal blocking for the All Blacks. Like I said, there was a high ball, and people were blocked, and there was a 3-point kick for Ireland on the board. 3 points to nil. 9 minutes into the game, there was a nice little break from Cortez Ratama. Um, the I thought the Keller, was his name? Yeah, Keller, the Irish player, had a nice jackal. I thought he got a nice jackal, but there was another player laying on the ground on the wrong side, and Nick Berry deemed that the player laying on the ground was disrupting All Blacks' ability to contest that jackal. So there was another penalty to the All Blacks, 3 points to 3 on the scoreboard. There was another thing I thought the referee didn't do really well is whenever there's a drop ball, whenever there's a bit of an issue, he immediately calls for a stop to the game, which I thought you should definitely let the game play on a little bit before calling the stop instead of just, let's not call that, that's it. Because sometimes the attacking team or the defending team could get a penalty out of that instead of just a scrum. I thought the referee also called that a bit too early as well. There was 24 minutes in the game, and I was applauding this. Ireland had a penalty. They they could have kicked for 3, but they decided to go for the line out there. Um, Oh, sorry. This was the All Blacks. They decided to go for the line out, and the line out was thrown was not straight. Bit of a letdown. But then again, this is the one where the Ireland didn't contest, and Nick Barry was kind of left scratching his head, not really sure about the law. There was what is it? 28 minutes into the game, there was a no arms tackle against the All Blacks. Sorry, against Ireland. The All Blacks gets another 3 points, 6 points to 3. There was a bit of a deliberate knock on by Caleb Clark, and the referee said it was just accident. I I don't know. There was no replay. Maybe the ball was thrown into his hand. That's the only way you could call it an accident. But it didn't look like it looked like he was out kind of like this, and then hit him in the hand. It still should have been a I don't know, but it was no replay. So moving on. 36. There was a what happened here? So there was also a mistake at 34 minutes that Caleb Clark kicked the ball on a full, and he was saying that one of the Irish players touched it. It looked like may have touched the ball, but the referee said there was no clear evidence. But he kicked the ball on a full, so it was Irish throw. He should be going back to where he was kicked it outside of his own 22, but it was the referee just went, all right, we'll just throw the line out where the ball went out. It's kind of almost like we're not sure if they touched the ball or not, but let's just go. You get the full distance of your kick, but then Ireland gets the throw in, right? It was just like, what the hell happened here? Really stupid, really bad from the referee there. You either go back to where you kicked it, just outside the 22, or it's an all black ball where the ball landed, right? And it landed inside the Ireland half. So really bad call here. 36 minutes of the game, there was more player lay on the wrong side. The referee starting the catch on, and the All Blacks takes another 3, 9 points to 3. Just before halftime, Jordy Barrett gets sent off with the yellow card, head on head collision, a late, offload, and Ireland takes another 3 points just before. I thought Ireland probably should have gone for the try here before halftime because they are up one player, and it's just it is just before halftime. If you fail to score, you're not going to run the risk of the All Blacks kind of like fighting back at you. I thought they probably should not have taken the 3 here. Should have probably taken an opportunity here. But anyway, second half, I think maybe Ireland came out of the dressing room feeling like they should have pressured a bit more, just came out just absolutely firing early. There was a bit of an early penalty. They went for the 5 meter line out. The ball was stolen, and then Sam Kang was tackled in goal. So 5 meter scrum for Ireland. They piled on the pressure, pick and go, short pass, crash balls. And eventually George Van der Fleer saw the try line and put the ball on the line. Try time, Ireland, who was ahead 13 points to 9. Quarters Ratama is really starting to struggle here. And there was another opportunity for Ireland, almost scoring, and the All Blacks spoiled it. A turnover around the rocks. And slowly but surely, All Blacks got themselves back in the right areas. 47 minutes into the game, with the play in the bin, All Blacks was able to get an opportunity for another penalty. And they yeah, and the ball was like fell off the tee for David McKenzie, and there was a lot of booing and jeering from the Irish fans. And David McKenzie quickly put the ball out, had 10 seconds or so, and kicked this one through. Just snuck it in. 13 points to 12. That was a really important kick there. 50 minutes into the game, Roy got us on, and immediately the breakdown was much better for the All Blacks. 55 minutes into the game, another 3-point penalty. This was 48 meters out, and David McKenzie hit the goalpost. And I reckon the amount of times David McKenzie hit the goalpost, if there was, if he get 10 points for hitting the goalpost, David McKenzie will be like probably one of the highest point scorers in the history of rugby. Right? That's how often this bloke hits the goalpost. Almost every game hits one, at least. One almost every one. Throughout the season now. Anyway, also the scrummaging at this point, it's really noticeably getting really slow. You're supposed to only have 30 seconds, and the referee's keeping track of the clock, letting the scrum run a lot longer than 30 seconds. I do agree. The law is the law. It's supposed to be 30 seconds. It's supposed to be 30 seconds, right? And then there was a 60 minutes. Was a huge one, boring in against Belam in the scrum. New Zealand had a dominance anyway. All Blacks take another 3, tick the scoreboard up ahead, 13 points to 15, and then 63 minutes into the game, there was not clear releasing from Ian Henderson at the breakdown. Again, that the breakdown disruption started to catch on. 13 points to 18 to the All Blacks, and finally 38 minutes into the game, with Cameron Roygard directing the traffic. Quick balls around the breakdown. The All Blacks spread the ball out to the right hand side, and then spread the ball back to the left hand side. Just really good hands. Number of forwards involved. There was what's his name? Satiti. There was Adi Savea. There was what's his name? Sapa Almoa. All of these guys had really great hands throughout this play, and eventually the ball went one end of the field to that end of the field, and Will Jordan, the try-scoring machine, goes in for the All Blacks. 13 points to 23. Pretty much put the nail in the coffin at this point with about 10 minutes left. And then, Frawley starting to really struggle under the high ball as well. A couple of important drop balls here and there. And then eventually, the Ireland, after this, kicked a nice 50-22 from James Lowe. Probably a bit too much celebration there before you actually won the game. Just started, almost like the one scored a try or something. It was nice 50-22, but really didn't deserve to celebrate that high when you were 10 points down. And the 73 minutes in the game, finally the Ireland had more opportunity to pressure, and the All Black turned the ball over, and then just a slow grind to the finish for the men in black to close that one out in perfect fashion. 23 points to 13. Best performance by far. And this is starting to look like a very, very scary All Blacks team once again. Yeah. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts. I'm very happy. Commiserations to the Irish fans. And yeah, I don't know what Irish could have done better this game. To be honest, the All Blacks just on another level tonight. The physicality, everything was there. Unlike last week, I could sort of say, the All Blacks, you could have done this and that and this and that and beaten the All Blacks for the England team. But this week, I really don't know what else the Irish could have done other than maybe tidy up the lineouts a little bit. Even that, I don't know if you could have made up the difference in points. Maybe fewer penalties around the breakdowns. Try not, it was clear the way that there was a coaching direction to have a player laying on the wrong side to slow the ball down. But with the referee starting to catch on, you got to kind of like stop that because you're just giving away points at that stage. So maybe adjusting to the referee a little bit better there could have helped the Irish. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys a bit later. Cheers.